Thank you very much, Pulse. Of course, I am joined by Yellowstar. Once again, welcome. You're back. It's good to have you again. Let me just ask you, how were you able to slot back into Fnatic? You just slide right into the shot caller again?
I mean, it was natural. You know, I stayed in the house. I was a bit afraid because I didn't know the Koreans, but it was just natural. You know, we got in game, we played, and I was just doing the way I was doing last year. So I felt pretty comfortable. So it was really nice.
It certainly showed through in that series. I mean, you guys got off to a pretty good start. A few stumbling blocks in game one versus Giants, but that second game, incredible performance. Nice stacks on your Medjais, by the way. Where do you rate a lot of the teams in LCS right now? So much has changed since you played here in Europe.
It's still the beginning of the season, so it was really hard to tell, considering that we only had like 10 days of practice. But we've played almost all the teams. I would say we still need more practice, obviously, but I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to stack up at the top, and hopefully we'll take the trophy back.
Ooh, okay. I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys are able to perform there. You said you have a little bit more work to do. Where do you think you'd rate your team at the moment in the split of everything? Obviously, you haven't even been able to see everybody's games, but just knowing where your skill level is at right now and knowing relative levels from some of the teams from the scrims and practices, where do you think Fnatic at the moment stacks up?
We still have like some issues to work on. I wouldn't be afraid to say that we should be in the top 3 right now, and I hope that we'll show it really soon.
All right, well, let me ask you the last thing here. Who do you think those other 2 teams are in the top 3 at the moment? I think I have a feeling I know at least one of those, but go ahead and tell me.
I don't know, you guess? I would say G2, and the other one maybe H2K, I would say. I'm not sure yet.
Well, there's a lot of split to play out. It is great to have you back, Bora. Thank you once again, and a fantastic performance. You can go ahead and join your team backstage. For now, though, we are going to send it back to the analyst desk to have Sjokz and the guys break it down to close out the day.
Thank you very much. All those foregone conclusions after day one.
Crystal Ball fires away. Who's the best, man? Where are you ranking? Come on, day one.
Well, I mean, I think it was nice in the way he said it, not being overconfident, but definitely in the way they played in these games. You could say, well, looking into the future, possibly top 3. Let's break down those games a little bit more. Giants trying to fight back in game 1, and then game 2. Aside from the dying in lane, the Janna Kalista, things went pretty good for Fnatic in game 2 as well.
So sure, dying in lane, bad. Don't do that.
Just teasing.
When it came to composition-wise, I actually felt like Giants had a much better setup this one. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the game once they got standard lanes, once they got the early first blood, I'm like, you know what? Giants can actually win this game because they have like a Vladimir who can't be stopped in one side lane. You have a Trundle who can't be stopped in the other one. Problem is, Giants decide to not even get caught up because they actually walked into it. They were like the ones starting fights when they couldn't because everyone else was like recalled. And yeah, Giants literally just gave so many free kills away that when they had a good 1-3-1 setup, they never got to use it because they just got caught out.
Yeah, we have actually a really good replay of setting one up.
There it is.
Because as the physio was saying, this whole thing starts off with a gank in the middle, and then the bottom lane rotate up through the river to try and provide that support. And this is what we were really confused about. Why are you trying to force an engagement when your team has already decided to disengage?
Yeah, nothing tilts me more than seeing a team opt into a play where there's basically no good outcome. Like, the best that can happen for Giants here is that they maybe force a defensive flash from Yellowstar, and that is it. The worst that can happen is exactly what happened, because Vladimir had been poked down from a trade in the mid lane, so he was basically running out. Elise was on the other side of the Dragon Wall, and yet you opt into engaging on the Janna with your Sivir ulti being popped. It's like, why? Guys, 1-3-1, you're going to win. Your Trundle is destroying the Echo up in top lane.
And not only that, that kind of transitions itself into our secondary play where we were looking at it and we're saying, well, Giants, you probably shouldn't chase here. And then it ends up really badly for them. Again, they kind of end up putting it, it was actually the Baron we got. So yeah, I mean, this is another kind of play where Giants are trying to rush it down at 20. Slightly different replay than we were expecting. Maxlor, I don't know whether it's nerves. He also gets pushed back by Febby, but odd smite timing very early allows for the smite steal to come through. But again, Giants put themselves in a situation where perhaps they don't need to be making that 50-50 play, because that Baron, sure, if they get it, they basically can build that comeback that they're looking for. But it's not super critical to go, okay, well, guys, the only way we can win this game is a Baron rush at 25 minutes.
Sure. I do feel like before the Baron, the team fight we wanted to have shown, where they fell even further behind, was like, okay, now as Giants, you basically lost the entire game. And I feel like this was one of these situations where, as a top team, Fnatic just have the experience to say, you know what, guys, we might be in a bad situation here and there, but we can wait for them to make mistakes and just punish it. And they did. All game long, it was like, okay, now Giants overextend, punish, punish, punish. Or you're trying to do Baron in 20 minutes, Spirit gets the 50-50 smite, and game is over.
To be fair to Giants, they still had some moments of promise. I mean, we did see them go for a deep invade when playing around the Dragon, where they actually set up really nicely. They didn't lose any members, but they forced Fnatic incredibly low. They then had the numbers advantage, and they tried to go for Pickle onto Febby, which didn't work out. But overall, you and I were discussing whether or not that was a safe play, and then with the vision that they gained, they were then freely able to take themselves that first Infernal Drake. So there were definitely signs of promise from Giants. It was just moving forward, they didn't quite have the best decision-making to build on that advantage.
Yeah, definitely things to build on. As I said, only the first series for them in Summer Split. Player of the game for us after looking at game 2, that is Febiven. Fantastic Azir play. After that game 1, he was like, I'm not getting caught again. I'm picking Azir, and I'm doing very well. But as Yellowstar said in the interview, it was kind of like I came back and everything felt like the way it had. It seemed like I'd never been gone. Maybe that's also why their calls, as you say, when it's between going or not going and maybe a 50-50, they make the right decision. So overall, very good showing. Febiven player of the game and a 2-0 start, and also 3 points for Fnatic.
A good start for them. Want to see them against tougher opposition, but I think when you look at how they kind of dealt with Giants in general, I think it's safe to say Fnatic are in a good starting position for Summer.
And clearly Scrims been working out, seeing as Yellowstar was saying from Scrims, like, yeah, we are top 3 at the moment. Can't really disagree from what we saw today. Sure, small mistakes in there. Honestly, they just punish Giants every single time. Won it, and I think this Fnatic lineup will stay around the top all split long. I just want to see what happens when it comes to like these really close games against like G2 and which other top teams we will have.
Yeah, we did get a nice quote there from Yellowstar saying, we will get that title back. That's what we want to hear, of course. Pirate prying that out of him. Now, with the end of that series, we have officially loaded